So, the big question of today, can this duo of Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic actually work? And not only that, does this pairing actually help one another and this Mavs team as a whole? In the last few seasons, the Mavs have seemed to be a team people sleep on or don't even think about when it comes to really competing, and I think that was all due to how much they lack defensively and also how inconsistent they are on the offensive end. For a long time, it was mainly the magic of Luka Doncic keeping this team alive by orchestrating the offense on a nightly basis, so things could tend to get a little stagnant at times, resulting in bad shots, bad passes, or just all-out bad possessions. In today's super competitive league, you just can't afford possessions where the offense consists of a high pick and roll into a lazy pull-up three. These type of possessions can come from Doncic from time to time, but since acquiring Irving, these plays shouldn't happen as often. Now, is Luka still a heavy ISO player who likes to strategically beat the defense with his gravity? Of course, but now other teams can't key in all their focus on Doncic, because if they do, then Kyrie is the second option in this 1-2 punch that can pour in the buckets at an alarming rate. Instead of Luka only breaking down the defense and the team solely depending on him, you'll see both Luka and Kyrie take turns making plays on the offensive end, just cooking the defense, which makes them stay more honest. By having two elite talents, it takes some of that scoring pressure off Luka, and this greatly helps his game out as he doesn't have to tire out his body night in and night out. But trust me, once Luka wants to turn it on and go have a field day, then he can step on that hardwood and make the defense look silly. Already this season, Luka has had 7 40-point plus games, which puts him at the #1 spot for most 40-point games this season, so don't for 1 second you think Luka is taking a break. But with Kyrie on his side when healthy, Doncic can have an even more clear head and relaxed nature knowing he has Irving as his partner in crime. Like, watch this play here. How many times can Luka pass it up the floor while sitting back relaxed confidently? Now the key word right there is confidently. Because when Kyrie has a hold of the ball, he can attack the basket with a quickness, and just before the defense can sink in, he can use that high carryover into a floater to avoid being contested by the big inside. Having Irving as this release option not only benefits Doncic, but when he attracts these doubles, it opens up Kyrie completely. So now before the defense can really sit down, Kyrie starts to attack to the basket, and if you're not all the way ready for this, well, it makes for an easy bucket. It doesn't just only open up driving opportunities for Kyrie, as Luka's gravity can pull defenders towards him at any time, so as the double comes his way, it's a simple bounce to the left, and Kyrie is left uncovered for the tray ball. Now, do you see how having Irving next to Luka gives him an even more reliable scoring threat to lean on? I know these plays were simple, but that's really all you need. But don't think for 1 second that Kyrie can't go create for himself, which will help Luka because then he can take some possessions off. With players having to stay connected to Doncic, it makes OG pick him up high on this play, which leaves the middle of the floor wide open. And in this case, it's just an empty playground for Irving to go play, and he takes Schroeder out for recess before going back to the left to get to his spot for the bank shot. With Luka knowing he has someone who can go break down the defense, it'll limit those possessions where Doncic is dribbling out the shot clock resulting in a bad shot, and it'll also get the ball out of his hands earlier in the possession, allowing the ball to swing around the court faster for an even better shot. There's truly a lot that can shift an offense with the acquisition of another valuable piece, and when you have two of the best scorers in the entire NBA next to one another, not only does Irving get to benefit off Luka's gravity, but Doncic can benefit off Irving's as well. With teams blitzing Luka with doubles constantly, by running a two-man offense with him and Kyrie on the same side of the floor, it makes Keontae George have to stick with Irving, which gives Luka this whole entire left side to work with, and when it's a one-on-one situation, you might as well chalk up 2 points on the board as this midi fade is just too easy. On this fast break, Wagner should have picked up Luka because you'll see that Cole Anthony is already back ready to defend Irving or Hardaway on the break, but with the major threat of Kyrie slicing his way to the rack, it pulls Wagner towards him, so the Magic can now slow him down, but when you decide to take away Irving but leave Luka wide open, well, you're pretty much just picking your own poison. Now with these examples, do you see how much these two help elevate each other's offensive game? You can call it thing 1 Kyrie Irving, thing 2 Luka Doncic, or you can switch it around if you like. By working off one another or taking turns leading the offense, it produces ridiculous results when they're both in the zone. And I know it may have been against a lower tier team in the Portland Trail Blazers, but Luka and Kyrie combined for 70 points in just 3 quarters while pouring in the buckets at an effective rate. Early in the season, you hear all the talks of a lot of people saying that Luka and Kyrie don't fit well together, or it simply won't work due to them both being ball dominant guards. But if you've tuned into some games where they share the floor together, you can see that this isn't even a major issue. Luka is very unselfish, unlike some people will say, and Kyrie can work off ball very well if needed. So as they say, men lie, women lie, but trust me, those numbers, they don't lie at all. In the 18 games played together this season, this duo has meshed very well, putting up an average of 54 points while converting 48% of their shots from the field and 39% of their shots from deep. Furthermore, when we look at the offensive rating with these two on the floor, they post a 119 offensive rating, which would tie them in the 5th spot as far as offensive ratings in the NBA. And with a 60% true shooting percentage with these two, this would put this offense at the 5th rank in the NBA as well. Now, can these two literally play the whole game making these numbers possible? Nah, not at all. But it just shows you how effective these two are when they step on the hardwood. So offensively, we know they can be a dominant pair together, and sharing the ball won't be a problem, but where the problem does arise with these two is on the defensive end. Per 100 possessions, the Mavericks have allowed 116 points per game, ranking them 22nd defensively in the league. So although the duo of Irving and Luka take this offense to a whole nother level, in my opinion, on the defensive end is where this team is going to need to hone in if they want to go deep in the playoffs. From all the games I've watched this year and went to, you can see the flashes of very good defensive stretches, so now it's all about being consistent on that end and tying everything together. The Mavs are a good team, and this duo is very special, but honestly, they're also a weird team in a weird spot. Can they compete? Yes, we all know that, so that's why I say they're good, but how sustainable will they be when it matters most? That's a question I want you all to answer in the comments, and let's all discuss it. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like before heading over to watch this Luka vs Joker analysis. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.